Hello everyone and welcome to Code Essentials KE. Today I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful website using HTML, CSS and JS. So this is the website we are going to create. We have the logo here, we have the navigation menu, we have the section, the first section, and we have the second section which says testimonials. Then we have the next section says our services. Then we have the contact section, and we also have the footer section with the nice auto type which we shall create using JavaScript. Also I've created a contact page where we can log in to our website. So we have the username, the email, then you enter the password. You can also show the password and also have the message, then the submit button. Now without wasting much time, let's get started. I've just created a nice HTML file here and CSS, as you can see. Which is showing our project at the beginning. So when you open, let us close this. So when you open this project here, you can see I have this image which is our logo, and this image is inside the div with the class image, and then the img tag which holds the image from the source as images and logo.png. So make sure you head over to the Github repository where I have put this code. So you can go to this Github repository, then images, and you can download these images which we are going to use in our project. Okay, now as you can see let me close this one. As you can see, I have the images folder here with all the images, and then I have the index.html file, and then the style.css. So what I've done is I've linked my style.css to my HTML, so that whenever we write code, our CSS code here, it makes changes to our HTML code. So as you can see, I have just styled the body of our website with the margin of 1, the font family as this one, Lato sans serif, then the scroll behavior smooth, the background color as RGB 247, and so on. Then the image, the class which is the class or image inside this div. So class image, and then we are grabbing the image itself here. So we are styling the image. Given the width as 6%, then height 6%. This makes sure that our image is squared, or it has the same size as the width and height. So firstly, the image was at this corner, but as we continue styling, the image was centered. So to center the image is like centering the div. So we are centering this div, actually not the image but this div which carries the image itself. So to center the div is very simple using flexbox. So we have to display flex, align item center, justify content center, margin, object fit, then border as this one. So as you can see, the image is centered, and still we want to have the rounded corners. So to do that, here we have to say the border radius. So border radius, then we can say 50%. So this makes our image a circular. So you can see this is border radius 50%. Now let's go back to our HTML file we continue writing our code. So the next thing is also to create another div with the content of the navigation menu. So we say div like so. Then inside here we're going to have the menu, so the navigation menu, and these are links. So to create a link, you type a href, then you can say index.html. So I say index.html. Then inside here I just write home. So this is the home. Then we can copy this, then paste several times, like 4. So another one is you can say about us. So about us, and this one can be services. So we say services. The next one is testimonials. So testimonials. Then the last one is contacts. So the contact page. Yeah, this one. So let us preview. Now you can see we have our links here on the navigation menu. So again, also to style this div, we can give it a class of nav dash content. So nav content, this is our class. Again, we are going to style this navigation menu inside the styles.css. So here inside the style.css, we are going to style the nav content. So class nav dash content, let's give it a position relative, then top 25%, width of, let's say, 100%, 100%. The next one is the text align center. The next property is justify content center, not center but space. This is going to be space between, so we are going to have the space in between the links. Then the last property is the margin. So you have the margin top, let's say 30 pixels. Yeah, so we can also review this. Let us reload. Yeah, now you can see we have our links here as the navigation menu. So we have the home, about us, services, testimonials, then contact. Now I think also need the button. We need the button here that says appointment. Yeah, so we can say button like so. This has the type of button, so this is the button. Then we can give it a class of btn1 because we are going to have several buttons, so we need to be specific. Then appointment. Now we have this button here. Let us also style this button. So we are going to say btn1. So class btn1 like that. Then we give it background color RGB 157. This is also 157. Then here for blue we have 246, 45. The next property is the color. Let's have the color as white. The next property is padding, 8 pixels. The next one is border radius. You can say 30 pixels. Next one is font family. Not font family, font size. We can say 18 pixels. 18 pixels. Then text transform, we can say uppercase. Now you can see the button is so big. Maybe we need to reduce the size. Let's say something like 10. Yeah, 10 looks better. Okay. I've just realized another thing, that our content is not spaced as we wanted. So we still have some little space here, but we wanted this to space between. So you have the position as relative, top 25, width, text align, center, justify content, space between, margin top, then have that pixels. The next property is the nav content button. So nav, so class nav content, then the button on hover. So we say on hover we want to change the background color to something like gray. Also the cursor to be pointer. Yeah, let us see. Now you see when we hover over this, the color changes to gray, and also the cursor changes to pointer. Okay, we can proceed. Now the next one is also the, as you can see, this button here, it has some decoration, but we don't want. As you can see, it has the border with color of black, so we need to remove that. So here I can say nav content, the button again, then we say border of none. Yeah, now the color is gone. Now we move on to the next property. So we need to style these links. So I think this is where we're going now to space them between. I think there is no need to space them here, so I can comment this. So let me comment that we are going to style them as the links. So nav content, then we grab the links. then I say justify content space between. How this should work. Not yet. Okay, let us continue styling. Then I can say margin of 10 pixels. The next one is text transform uppercase, so text transform uppercase. Then the last property is text decoration. I'm going to say none. Okay, now as you can see, they have spaced out, so we can see we have the space between. We also have the margin here, and also here at the top. Our button is fine. Now we are remaining with the, I think, the hover. We want, when we hover over these links, we want to see a nice underline down there. So I think we continue styling our nav content. Then so the next one, I say again nav content, our links on hover. Our links on hover, we want to have the border bottom. So border bottom, it is going to be 2 pixel solid, 2 pixel solid, then blue. You can also preview this. You can see when we hover over these links, we have a nice border bottom in the color of blue. Yeah, so I think we are done with the navigation menu, but it is not responsive on our small screen. Now this is where we are also going to write JavaScript code to make sure that this is actually responsive. Now let's go back to our style.css. Now to style on small screen, we have the property in CSS called at media query. So at media screen, and let's start with let's start with the max width. So the max width of, let's say, 668 pixels. Inside here we're going to have our class nav content, the links. So we grab the links, then we say display is none. So we don't want to display these links of our navigation menu when we reach this screen size at 668 pixels. Okay, so we don't want to display that, we want to hide them. That's why we say display equal to none. So the next one is the button. So we say again nav content, the button, and this button, so we say button, also display none. Yeah, so display none. The next one is the image. So our class image, sorry, so the class image of, then we grab our image as usual, then we give it a margin auto. So we say margin auto. Again, the height is now going to be 15 15%, and also the width. Also the width will be, so the width is going to be also 15%. Now let us preview this in our browser. So we want to inspect this. Let us see if it is working. Wow, very nice. So whenever we move up to the screen size of 668, you can see here. So when we go 66, 67, 68. So when we go beyond these, then we have to display each as flex. So when I click 669, then we see our navigation menu. When I go 68, then we have to display none, just as we have this defined here. Okay, now the next thing is I think we are going to create a navigation menu now. These were just links. Now we are going to create our navigation menu on small screen. Okay, also we are going to have, we can have a comment that says navigation menu. Down here we have a div. This div has a class of, so the class of, let's say not the class but the ID. Let's give it an ID. So ID, I can say my ID, not my ID but my nav. Then also the class, what is this? So the class overlay. So the class overlay, like so. Inside our div, we're going to have let me minimize this so that we have enough space here. Inside our div, I'm going to type the link, so a anchor tag. Inside here we can say JAVASCRIPT, the void of 0, and then we give the class, then we give the class of close btn. So this is the class we are going to refer in the JS to help us close the navigation menu and also open the navigation menu. So close btn, and now on click we are going to have this function, so close nav, and this is going to execute this function. Okay, now and so this button here, this close button, we can just type here our X like that. Okay, let us preview. Now we can see we have our close icon here. You can say icon or a button. Under this, we're going to have another div with the class of overlay dash content. So overlay content. So inside our div we can have our anchor tags. So here we can say just index.html, like so, and we repeat the same here as home, just as we did up here. I think I can just copy this instead of typing each and every content here, we can copy all this because they are the same, and then we paste them there. Then we can tab. Yeah, wow. So on small screen we are going to style this and also give some functionality using JavaScript. Okay, and here we have to change this class to button, and I think now this is fine. You can go to style and also style these links. So overlay, we have we still have the overlay here, right? Yeah. So down there we can say the class overlay, then we say height 0, so height is 0. The next one is width is now 100%, so the width is 100%. The next property is the position, and position is fixed. The next one is the Z index, so Z index we say 1. The next one is in the top 0, also left 0. The next property is background color, so we say background color, this is going to be RGB 000, so RGB 0,0,0. The next one is again the background color, RGBA, and this is going to be 0,0,0, then 0.9. Okay, now the next property is overlay. So overlay, you can say overlay Y is hidden, you can say hidden. The next one is transition, so you say transition 0.5 seconds. So what this does is that whenever we click on the close, button, it transforms, or the transition is 0.5 seconds. So when it opens up and closes, it takes 0.5 seconds. So that is what it means. And also the Z index here, so it is going to overlay on top of the content, that is the Z index of 1, so it is going to be on top of the other content behind. Okay, it's going to be fixed, as you can see. Now we can continue with style. Now the overlay content, the overlay dash content, overlay content, we can say position is relative, top 25, top 25%, also the width 100%, so the width 100%. The next one is text align center. Then the last property is the margin top has 30 pixels. Okay, The next thing is we are going to style the links now, our links. So we say class overlay, then links. We say padding, we can say 8 pixels. The next one is text decoration, so we want to remove those underlines, so we say text decoration, then we say none. The next property is font size, so the font size is you can say 30 pixels, and the next one is the color, so you want to give them the color of, you can say RGB 204, 204, 210, then 204. Yeah. The next property is display block. That means that they are going to be on top of each other, so we have the home, services, and so on. The next one is transition. Again, transition, this time we're going to say something like 0.3 seconds. Okay, now what's next? The next thing, also we are going to style the overlay, anchor tags on hover, then also overlay anchor tags, then focus. So focus, then we say something like color of white, color FFF, so something like white. The next style is the overlay content, then the button, then we say the background color, so background color RGB 226, comma 226 again, comma, then 241. Yeah. The next property is color, so this is the color of the text, so we say RGB of 15, 16. The next one is padding, so we say padding, you can say 18 pixels, then border radius of 30 pixels. This is the button of appointment. Then the next one is the text transform, so we say text transform, this should be uppercase. Okay, I don't know if there is anything here, so nothing is showing. Let us continue styling. So the next one is the close button, so we say overlay, comma, not comma, another class of close btn, then we say position absolute, position is absolute, then top is 20, top you can say 20 pixels, then color of white, so color we can type FFF, The next one is right 45, so we say right, this is 45 pixels, so it is going to be at the top 20 pixels, and then right will be 45 pixels. The next one is the font size, so font size of 30 pixels. Okay, let us see, nothing has changed. We continue. Down here we can say I don't think if, yeah, this is okay for now. I think now we can move on to JavaScript. So create a new file and say index.js. Index.js. Now here we can create a comment that says open and close nav. Open and close nav. Then we say const open nav, open nav equal to an arrow function, equal to an arrow function. Like so. Then we say document dot get element by id, and what was our id here? Our id was, what was our id? The id was nav, my nav. So control C there, then we say nav, my nav. We can just say that. Then can say dot style, then dot height, and this is going to be 100%. So this means that when we open the nav, it drops down 100%. This means that it's going to cover the whole page 100%, because the height of our page is 100%. So this nav is also going to open up 100%. We can go to close nav, so we can say const close nav equal to an arrow function equal to an arrow function that says document dot get element by id, and still the id is my nav, right? Then we say dot style dot height equal to 0. Yes, so this is when we close the navigation menu, it is going to go back 0%. When you open, it opens 100% of the total height of the screen or the page. When we close, it goes back to 0. Okay, now back to our HTML file. We can also create another div. Outside this div, we can say div with a class of hide. So class, we can say hide content. In here we can say span. You can say span, and this span is going to have the style. So this is inline styling. You can style here. Then we say font size of, not font but font size, font size. So font size, I say 30 pixels. The next one is cursor. The cursor is always pointer. Cursor is pointer. Then the next thing is now the on click. So we say on click, open nav, right? This is the function we've just created in the JS. Then inside here you can type something like this. Then you say hashtag 9776. Yeah. Okay, now let us see what is this. Wow. Now this is the opening icon. Yeah. So this code shows the opening icon, as you can see here in the browser. Okay, now we want to, whenever we click on this icon here, it opens the nav, and when we close, it closes the nav. But let us style this class hide. So Ctrl C. Let's go back to our style.css. So we are styling this class hide, then we say display, none, display none. Okay, now we are expecting this to work up to this level, but as you can see, nothing is showing on the screen. This means that we have to go inside our media query and style it. Okay, now down here we can say at media query and the max width, so max dash width, then we say 668 pixels. What we want to do here is we want to style the body. So the body scroll behavior, as always, smooth. The next one, our hide class. So class hide, we want to do something here, margin of 0 and auto, so it means it's going to center this. The next one is align items at the center. The next one is justify content at the center. Then we are also going to display flex. As you know, this is flexbox, how to style, how to center a div. Very simple. So display flex. Okay, I think I'm also missing something up here. We can write something about this media query again. So I can say at media query, and this time we want to have the max width of 450 pixels. So this is the small screen, small. You can say overflow, not overflow, but overlay class. This should be the class. So class overlay, then we can say overflow y auto. Yeah. Then the next one is the class overlay, then the class, the clause btn, and this is going to take the font size 10 pixels. The next property is top 15 pixels. The next one is right 35 pixels. Okay, I don't know if this is working, but what we can do is now we can confirm. Now we have this, but when we click, nothing is happening. So what could be the problem? It says open nav is not defined. Open nav is not defined, and this is index.html line 40. Okay, open nav here is not defined. Now let us see what could be the problem. Open nav is not defined. JS here, open nav. What could be the problem? Open nav not defined. Let me copy this, then replace it here. Open nav. Okay. Let us again confirm this. Okay, I think we need to import some links here. So go to Github repo. This link will be in the description. And then inside the index.html, I think we need to copy these two links from CDN. So you need to copy this, Ctrl C, then I think we can paste them down here. Okay, let us save. Let us go back, reload this. Okay, I think what we need to do, I forgot to link my JS, so the script tag with source index.js. Yeah, I think this is what is missing. Now let us reload the page again. Wow, very nice. Now we can see, but now the button is too large. So we can open up our nav and close it very smoothly. Okay, now let us try to style this button. It's becoming so large, even more than the page itself. Okay, now on the small screen, the button, where is the button? So display none. Let us say font size of something like 15 pixels. Hopefully this works. Still too large. Something like 10. I think we can continue with the rest of the content. Font size. What can we do here? Okay, let's say for now everything is working fine. You can do more styles so that you can style this button, but for me I think I'll just continue with the rest. Okay, now we have finished the logo, the navigation menu, and also we are done with the navigation menu on small screen. Wow, very nice. Now the next thing is now the first section of our page. So we move to the first section of our page. So inside here, under this div, we can have a comment that says section 1. So the next thing is to type div, then the class of section 1. Then inside here we are going to have some h3 that says welcome to our, but we can have a span, so span, so welcome to our new website. So welcome to our new website. Then this span is going to have a class of span, like so. Okay, the next thing, we can also have h5 that says this is our new website to display wow display tutorials. Then we can also have a p tag, so paragraph, that says this website displays what we are doing right now in this tutorial. Feel free to like and subscribe to get more content like this. Wow. Okay, the next thing, we can also have another H5 that says new web tutorial. Yeah. Okay, we can have a style for this one. So class of any name, let's say group. Okay, we can style this before we move on to the next. So copy this class. Down here we can have a comment. Oh, this is JS. Let's go to index dot the style.css. So we can have this says section 1. Okay, so we have this class. We can style this, and now section 1, we can have margin. We can have margin top of 50 pixels, margin left 25 pixel, not 25%. The next one is margin right, and this we can also have 25%. Okay, the next style under section 1 is now the class section 1 that takes the span. So the span element is going to have the color of something like RGB 101, 101 again, then 249. Okay, then the font family, we can have something like Verdana, Geneva, Tahoma, Sans Serif. Yeah. Okay, the next one is the section 1 and group. Yeah, and group. Okay, this is going to have the font size. So we can say font size of 20 pixels. The next property is the font family, and this one is going to be brush script empty capital, comma, then brush again with script, then std, comma, then cursive. Okay, now the next property is the display flex. So display flex. The next one is justify content, align items center, justify content center, not center, but you can say flex, end. Okay, save. Let us preview. Wow, I think we need to enlarge this. Okay, now you can see this is our first section that says welcome to our new website. This is our span. This is our new website to display tutorials, this blah 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 and so on. So we have this one here, the new web tutorial. This is the group icon or the text, group text, and these are, we are given this font family. You can see it is very, very nice. Yeah, like so. When we inspect this page, very responsive, very nice. Yeah, so this is our first section. Now let us move on to the next section. We can close this. So the next section, so down here we can have the next section, section 2. So we say section 2, right? So div, then you have the class section 2, div class section 2. Then inside this div, inside the div, we are going to have h3. So h3, that it says testimonials, right? But we also want to style this, so we give a class of testimonials, right? Testimonials, very good. Okay, now the next one is we can have another div, and this div has the class of parent. You can say parent. This div has another div of class child. We normally have children and their parents, so child 1. This div, inside this div, we can have a paragraph that says Lore ipsum. Then we can I think we can delete some content up to somewhere. I don't know. Let us do something like this up to here. Maybe this one can work fine. Let's put this on a new line. Okay. Let us reload. Now we have this. I think we need to add more things, but it is fine. Let's say Lore ipsum. Then I just want to have everything on a new line. I want to have as much content as possible. Okay, now this is looking fine. We can move on to under this div. We can do something like div, and we give a class of child. So this is child number 2. Then inside here we can have an image. We can have an image with the source dot slash images slash, I think, person 1. Yeah, like so. Then this is not necessary, but we can leave it there. But you can have a class, can leave this, then have the class of man 1. These are man 1, and then we can have the h5 of man, the name of this guy here. So you can say Micah Wong, right? But we also need to style this, so we give it a class of man-name. Okay, let us load this. Oops, the man is here with a very, very large image. Wow. Okay, Now let us style this. So we move on to the style.css. Let us style this. So we have the section, just another comment that says section 2. Okay, now section 2, background color. So we have the background color of gray. Okay, the next one is the testimonials. So testimonials, then you can say display flex as always, align items center. I think I can just copy this. Okay, display align items, there is nothing to copy there. Justify content center, then text transform to uppercase. Okay, so the next thing is the parent. So parent has a text align center, and then our child one. So child one, margin right 10%. So you can say margin right 10%. The next one is display inline block. So you can say this display inline block. The next one is max width 400 pixels. The next one is padding 1 rem. Okay, the last property is the vertical align. Then you can say middle, vertical align middle. The next one is the paragraph. So we say the child one, the paragraph. Then we say the color is white as always. Color, we say it is white smoke. Then the font family, you can say Korea. Then comma, then you say monospace. Okay, the next one is the child number 2. So you say class child number 2. This child has margin left of 5 pixels, not pixel but percent. Display inline block. The next one is max width. So max width 300 pixels. The next one is padding 1 rem. Padding as 1 rem. Okay, then the last property is the vertical align as middle. Child number 2. So child child number 2, the image. So we grab the image and then we say height. So we want to reduce the size of this image, is too large. Height 200 pixels, 200 pixels, and width, width also 200 pixels. Wow, let us load this. Now you can see this is Mika Wong, this is the image, and so on. So let us continue styling the image. So you can say man1 dot man1, so the first man, not man1. So the border radius 50%. Then object fit, then we say cover. Okay, object fit cover. Now our text is what? Our background is nowhere. Okay. Oh, this is background color, not border color. Wow. So background color is gray. Very good. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. The next thing is now to style man name. So the name of the man. So man dot man dash name. Font family the same as this one. So brush. Where's the brush? This one. So Ctrl C, then we can paste it here. Okay, here it is the font family. So we move on to the next section, that is section number 3. So in here, let's do a div, a comment that says section 3. Okay, let's have a div, and this div the div as the class. This div as the class. So class of section 3. Then inside the div we can have an h3 that says our services. Okay, but you can also give it a style. So we need the class of services. Okay, below that we need a div. So a div, this div is the parent div, so the class of parent. Then inside this div we can have another div with the class of child number 3. So child number 3. Then inside the div we can have our image, and the source is ./images, then person number 2. Yeah. Then we also need the class here that says now this is an adult. So adult. A class that says adult. Then we can have an h3 again with the name of this person. So you can say something like James James Bond. Okay, we don't need to style that. The next one is the H5, and this says project manager. So James Bond is our project manager. And then down there we can have a p tag, so paragraph with lore ipsum, like so. Then we can break this 2 new lines, something like that. Okay, let us see this. Wow, very nice. So we need to style this. Okay, but before styling, let us add some div here. Before after the p tag and the div, you can have another div. This div has a class of the child number 3. Okay, now inside here we can have another image. I think I need to copy this. No repeating. I think I need to copy this thing, Ctrl C, and then paste several times. Okay, then here I need to change this child. This is person number 3, so I can say this is person number 3, so person 3, and this is a lady. Okay, then she's called who? We can say she's not a lady. This is just her class name. You can say something like Enoch James. Okay, Enoch James. Okay, and this guy is a UI UX expert. Okay, this is person number 3. So the next one is the person number 4. So this is person number 4, and this is man web. We can say man 2-web. This is just a class name, don't worry. Then the next one is, now the name of this person is Jim. You can say Jim Lee, and Jim Lee is a database manager, so you can say database manager. Okay, now let us preview this in our browser. Wow, very nice, How many people are these? 1, 2, 3. Okay, now they have their names, their capacity. Okay, now we can go to style. I am not going to write all these CSS. I think what I can do is go to my GitHub repo, then go to style.css, then look for section number 3. Okay, section number 3. The section number 3, what is it? Section number 3. So section number 2, section number 3. Then I need to copy all these styles. Copy this, then go to style.css and paste, then save. Now let's go back to our web page. Wow. So you can also copy the styles, or you can just write. But when we inspect this, you can see they are automatically aligned on top of each other. So this is the flex box. So when we enlarge this, as you can see, they come on top of each other. Very, very good. So everything here is done by CSS. As you can see, just copy these styles and everything will be fine. Okay, now we move on to the other section. I think this is the last section, if I'm not wrong. This section, I think I'll also just copy this. These are simple things to write. I think I'll not dwell much on them. Okay, so index.html. Then we need to copy the section up to somewhere there. You can read on your own. These are just tags. So we say section 4. So here you can see this section number 4, and we have a div with class section 4, then the class of parent, then we have the child number 3, then the rest are just tags. H5, a paragraph of class para 1, and they are just repeating. Then you have about group number 54, code, our latest news, contact. Then the next div has almost the same things, but we are just changing here the code, the street. So Moi Avenue, we say Nairobi, the telephone number, and also the Gmail. The next thing is all services. It's another div, as you can see. So it says web dev, database management, mobile app development, entrepreneurship. Then child number 3 is the newsletter, where we have this is the para, we promise to give quality services, and so on and so on. So the next thing is also I'm going to copy this. These are just CSS. You can write on your own, or you can read them. So style.css, I am going to copy from where, somewhere here, section 4. Okay, then I'll paste it here. So we are defining section 4, padding 20 pixels, text area, resize none. So let us view this so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, now this is the text area. These are the div number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we are saying the text area, the resize is none, so we cannot resize this. If I try to remove this property, let's say I comment out this, that means that we can resize this whenever we want, as you can see. But we don't want to resize this, so we uncomment that. Okay. Now the next thing is the input type, still the text area. Then we have the submit, this one. So we are styling this. We are saying width is 50%, height 35 pixel, display flex, margin 2 pixel auto, align item center, the 5 content center, border none, border radius 20 pixel. So the border radius here is 20 pixel. As you can see, these rounded corners, these are 20 pixels. Okay, now the next one is the background color. Then we have the color of the text, then we have the font size and the cursor. Cursor is pointer, so the cursor is pointer. The background color is somehow green, I don't know the color, but it looks green. Okay, the next one is now the input type of submit. Now hover, we want to change the color to this color. As you can see, when we hover over this, the color changes to that specified color. The rest are just divs and tags and the styles. Okay. Now the last section is the footer. The footer doesn't have much, so we can still copy the code. So we go here inside the footer section, index.js, not JS but HTML. Then down here we copy the footer section up to somewhere here. So copy this. You can also clone this repository and just follow along. So down there we still paste that. We can still review this. Now this is where we are. So you can also find us on social media. We have the Facebook icon, the Twitter icon, YouTube, and the Instagram. Okay, now let us go through this. So we have the div with the class of footer, the h3 that says you can also find us on social media. We have the class icons. These are div that holds these our icons, so social media icons. We have the Facebook icon, we have the Twitter icon, YouTube icon, Instagram. All these things are coming from these links. You can't use them until you import this. You can copy these links. I will also include them in the description, this one and this one. Okay, so our footer section. Then we have another div that says with an h4, say this website was designed by this. So this is where we are going to implement our JavaScript. So we have the class with typing. So we want to auto type the names. Okay, but first let us style this the same. We are going to do the same. So go to the Github and copy the CSS. So go to style.css and down there to the footer section. The footer section starts from here. You can copy these up to there. Copy, and then you can paste. So when you save this, reload your browser, now you can see we have our footer there. Okay, let us go through this quickly. So the class footer, the background color, linear gradient of 45 degrees, RGBA, the padding is 20, then the h3, display flex, line item center, this is just centering the div. Then the footer with that paragraph, we still align them. The footer, text align center, display block. Then the margin block start is this and end. Then we have the start, inline start and inline end, and also the font weight to be normal. Okay, this is what we are doing here. The footer icons displays flex, still this is centering the div. In the footer icons, we want these icons to be margin of 10 pixels. Okay, so this one 10 pixels. Okay, then we hover over these icons. We want to change the color to something like this. So when you hover over this, you can see the color is changing to something. Then the typing is blue. We have not implemented this, but it will appear here. So it will say this website was designed by, then it will be auto typing this text here, and this we are going to implement using JavaScript. Okay, now Let's go to JS. I think this I'm going to now type manually so that you guys can see what we are doing. Okay. Make sure you have this link in your index.html that says https cdn.js type min js and so on. So make sure you have this link in your HTML. Okay, we can have a markline comment like this. Then we can say this is the function to type text. Okay, so you can say let typed equal to the new typed. Oops. Then we pass in our class that says typing. The class typing, this class here. This is the class. Where is it? Now this is the class typing. This one. Okay. Okay. Now the next thing we say comma. Then we write the code here. We say string. And this is going to take now the names. You can say Mike Wong. We can say James. We can say James Bond. We can say Jim Lee. Then lastly you can say Eric Wong. Right? Okay. Then you can say typed speed. So we have to set the speed of typing. We can say 60 seconds. This is supposed to be a comma. Then the next is the back speed. We want is to be 100 milliseconds. Okay. Then the loop is true. Okay, now let us reload this. Wow, very nice. So this, it is typing, but it's not typing what we wanted. Yeah, but it is doing something. Okay, it is typing. I think this one is supposed to be strings. Let us see if something changes. Wow, so this one is supposed to be strings and not string. Okay, now we can see it is typing This website was designed by Eric Wong, Mika Wong, James Bond, Jim Lee, and so on. So this is done. The next thing is now to implement our contact page. This one I'm also just going to copy the code from the contact.html, but we will write JavaScript. Okay, so in here just create contact.html. Then you can say HTML5 boilerplate, and in here we can say, what can we say? We can have the style, so we can have the link, and then still we have style.css here. Okay, we can also have some inline styles. You can have style, and here you can say the body, the background color to be something like RGB 135,130,233. Okay, now another thing is that we need to link our index.html and the contact.html file. So what we need to do is we go to index.html, down here where we have the contact, then we say we want this to be the contact.html, so that when we are in the home page, when we are here, we can click and we go to this page. Very, very simple. Okay, now the next thing, inside our contact.html, inside the body, I think we need to have some form. So I think I'm just going to copy and paste this code here. These are just HTML, so I can copy from div to this JS. Ctrl C, then I'm going to paste this here. Okay, then we need to do some small things here. We can just put hashtag, and the rest is fine. Okay, now let's go to our web page, and now we have this ugly looking form. Just look how ugly this is. What are we supposed to do here? We need to style this. Okay, now we go to our style.css. I'm going to copy the same thing, so let's go here inside the style.css. I'm still going to copy and paste this CSS code here. Ctrl V. Okay, now let us see if there is any change. Wow, we have this. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, now when you go inside the index, inside the contact.html, we have the form, the div with the login box, h3 that says logins. We have the form. Now this is where our content goes. So the form takes an action. Where do we want this to go? Then the method should be post, and when you send your data, it goes somewhere where the post is. So on submit, we want to return the validate function. So we want to validate this this page, that if the user entered something that was not required, then it alerts him or her that the content is not correct. Okay, now the form, as always, the method is post. Okay, the label is username, the input, as you can see, where the user will type his or her name, we have the ID as username, then the placeholder, the text that appears inside the input, like this one. So this text here that says enter your name, this one says example@gmail.com. this is now the placeholder, as you can see. Okay, now we have the password. The password will take a function that toggles this password to show the password or not show the password. Then you have the message, the text area, we have already discussed that, and also we have the input type of this captcha, which is with the value of false. Then we have the button that submits the data that we have written. Okay, if you type in here something, you can see we are showing the password, but we can't see these letters here. So this is implemented using JavaScript. So let's go back to our index.js file. Down there, we are going to write our validation. The first thing, let's have a comment, multi-line comment like this one. Okay, then we say the form, the function to show, and toggle and confirm password. Okay, so you can say function toggle, this function doesn't take any arguments, but you want to have something like var toggle equal to document dot document dot get element by ID, and the ID is the type password. Okay, this is the ID we are using, type password. Where is it? The ID is type password. Where is it? Is here. So this is the ID. We are taking this ID, so we want to type the password. Then we say if toggle dot type equal to the password we want, equal the password, we are going to say toggle dot type type equal the text, So by default the password is not text, they are just dots. As you can see, we are typing here. When we type anything, they are just dots. But now we are setting this to the text. So we are saying if toggle this one the type, if the type is the password, then it should be the text. Okay, so so we return the text. Otherwise it will be default as password, which is which are those dots. So else we say toggle dot type equal to the password, because by default the password is password by default, so it is dots. Okay, now if we try to type something here, let's say, and we click show password, now we can see our password. Okay, now everything is fine. The logins, can put here the name, the username, the email, the password, the message, and then we can submit. But we also want to write some code to validate this. This form. So here, down here, you can say validate the form. Then we type something. Then we say function validate, which doesn't take any arguments. Say let email, this we are hard coding this, document dot get element by ID. Then we say it is the email. Oops. So we say email. Okay. Then we say dot value, so the value of the email. Then also let the username equal I think this should be, just use this as capital, email, document. I think I need to copy this, I'm tired of typing each and every time. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. This is supposed to be the value, just value. So value, this one is supposed to be the username, and we can also have our password. Then in here we can say password. Okay, we can write some if condition. We say if username is not equal to this guy, Mika, then we say alert. The alert has a message that says please enter correct name, please enter correct username. Yeah, please enter correct username, like so. Then if the email is also not equal to this one, abc@gmail.com. If it is not, then we also say alert, and alert says please enter correct email. So please enter correct email. Okay, then we return, I think we need to return false. We need to return false. So here we also return false. We return false because it is not equal to that. So return false. Return false. We return false because it is not equal to this. Otherwise, then we return true. So we return false because the image is not equal to the email we want. The last one is the password. So we say if the password is not equal to, we can say the password is equal to empty. If the password is empty, then we also alert these people and we say please, can say something like please enter correct password. Then we return again false. So we return false. We return false. Okay. The remaining here, we want to have the email pattern. We want to validate this email pattern. Email pattern. So email pattern, you can say let email pattern equal to, so let email pattern equal to this pattern. Just copy this pattern. So I'm going to copy this pattern. So head over to my GitHub repo index.js. Then we can copy this pattern. We can copy this pattern here. So copy this pattern. Then we paste there. Then you can also say let email match array. So we want to match this email with the entered email is equal to the email dot match then we take the email pattern. Okay, now we want also to say if. So we say if email match array, if email match, what am I doing here? Email match array equal to null, then we say alert. The message is your email address seems incorrect. Then you say please enter, we say please try again. So please try again. Then we still return false. We return false. Okay. The other thing we can say if username is not equal to not equal to empty, and email is not equal to, oops, look at this thing, and email is not equal to empty, and password also not equal to empty, then we return true. So if the user has entered all the details we want, then we have to return true. Okay, now let's head over to our, let's say, so the username was Micah, the email was abc@gmail.com. the password, we can leave it. The message is thank you. Then we can submit. So our form is submitted. Okay, if we enter something like James as the name, James, then we say something like abc@gmail.com, then we can leave it. We say thank you, submit. It says please enter correct username, so it means our validation is working fine. Okay, now this one has been a very long tutorial, HTML, CSS and JS for beginners. As you can see, much of the code here is so redundant. We are repeating much of the code here, but this is for beginners who are learning web development. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Code Essentials KE, and I will see you in the next video.